Hi guys, and welcome to today's video, which is a feeding video. I don't usually do these, but a lot of people have asked me to do them. I'll tell you why I don't really do them, because I always feel so bad for the animals who get eaten. Like, just because we own reptiles and that does not mean we're immune to feeling bad. So, yeah, this is the feeding video, so that's happy. Got some crickets here. They've been eating some strawberry, courgette, parsnip and lettuce. So they are well gut loaded. We've also had some of the Arcadia insect fuel in there, but they seem to have eaten it. So today some of the geckos are getting crickets, some are getting mealworms, and to figure out what to dust them with, as I would tell you, I like write the stuff down whenever I feed them. I also say what I feed them, and in brackets I say like what they've had. So it's calcium day today. So I'm going to feed Diego first because he seems very enthusiastic at the sight of the crickets. So let's pick 8 crickets for Diego. I like to feed off the bigger ones first because I know some people have issues with chirping ones, or they get too big to be fed to their particular gecko. So what I always do when I first get crickets, because these are new ones, is I feed off the biggest ones first. That way the smaller ones have time to grow, and most of the time we don't get any chirping ones or any that get way too big to be eaten. So that's what we're doing here, especially for Diego. Diego will eat all the massive ones. Diego. So what Diego usually does is he lets me put all the crickets in. He won't do anything, he'll just sit there and, oh, maybe he has seen one. And usually as soon as I shut the door, he just pretty much eats everything. So as you see, he won't really look like he's going to hunt, but he will. I think he's just sometimes curious when I open this door. As you can see, once one has been fed, they all know they're getting fed, so they definitely want that food. So next is Gizmo. Gizmo doesn't have calcium, she doesn't have the same as the other geckos because she's sort of going through the natural route of getting supplements and that. So at the moment she's having her Arcadia Earth Pro A. I will be doing a review on this and their calcium very soon. I was going to do it with the light that she's using as well, but I think the video would be too long, so I'm going to do one on that and then one on the light. So I have some of that in this bag already, and I'm going to probably give her about 6 crickets, see how she goes with those. If she eats them all, then I'll add another 2, but we're still building up her appetite a bit. Sometimes she'll just eat everything, but you don't want to leave too many in there, because sometimes when there's too many, they don't want anything to do with them. So I don't want to really chance it at the moment. Another reason I don't usually do feeding videos is because the vivariums appear very dark, and they're not, it's just my camera won't pick up low light, and the ISO is already on 2000, which isn't bad, but the higher you go, the more pixelated the videos are, so I don't really want to go too high. Oh, she's already eaten that one, that's a good sign. So I might actually add an extra 2, so she has 8 today. For Zig and Minnie, I might just give them mealworms. They both love these, but yeah, I think this will be good to mix it up a bit. With the mealworms, I don't always put them in the bag. I actually just use the lid of the calcium pot, shake them around in there, but I always give them one at a time. I don't like to leave them in there because mealworms escape all the time, and it's not good for your animal to leave in all these feeder insects, especially mealworms. They can give you a bit of a nasty bite. If anyone's wondering what happened to my breeding mealworms, basically there were too many mealworms being eaten compared to how many were being produced, basically. So I had to go and get a new tub, and as you can see there are loads and loads of pupae, but I will probably feed some of them off to my crested gecko in a bit. Right, I don't know how Ziggy's going to respond, because in order to actually light up this vivarium, I have to use the Jungle Dawn light from Lyra's tank. So it's very bright. So let's see how she goes. Zig! Zig! Oh. I think the light might be putting her off. So what I'm going to do is, for her and Minnie, I'm not going to film it just because it's far too dark and the light's just putting them off from eating, so that's no good. If you want to see Minnie though, Minnie is over here, waiting very patiently for her food. With Minnie, it takes a lot longer because I sit there and make sure she eats one at a time. Usually, like lately, I've been hand feeding her a lot more, and I don't think that's too bad considering she does have an eye issue, but occasionally I do make her sort of chase it herself if she can. Next, I'm feeding the crested geckos. If you use milk lids like I do, make sure you've definitely cleaned out all the milk, even if it's dried on, because most things on this planet do not respond well to cow's milk, so you don't want to be mixing that up into your crested geckos food. I'm actually getting really short on these because I don't actually drink milk. I drink, what's it called? Almond milk. So whatever, try it. It's really nice and creamy actually, compared to cow's milk. A lot nicer. Anyway, a little bit of drink advice there. So one of these is going for Isla, which is this one. It's sort of orangey coloured one. She's doing really well with this Pangea food. If you saw my, was it a review I did or something? She's actually doing fantastic with that now. So that one's hers, and this one that she has is banana and apricot. And the one that Lyra has is watermelon and mango, I believe. By the way, Minnie ate 15 mealworms and Ziggy ate 14. So they've certainly got their appetite back. So I fed Lyra. I don't really have to worry too much about her. She pretty much always finds her food straight away and completely eats it before the night's over. So she is not a problem. Isla isn't really a problem too much at the moment. Her appetite's really good. Of course, we can't do a feeding video without the feeding drum, but she's on here now because I like to make sure she is actually eating, because she looks a little bit skinny, and after the last weighing video it did seem like she's lost quite a bit of weight, so just get a little bit of her food on here and her response is usually pretty good. There you go. Let's get her head to tilt up a bit. Right, look. Now she's looking for the food. Okay, come here, put your head here. That's it. Now what I do here is I just get a little bit of the food, she licks it and then lower it down slightly and she ends up licking out the bowl. So that's all good. She has eaten some of that, so I'm happy with that. She'll probably eat a little bit more. I'm just going to see whether she responds well to the pupae, because recently she has been eating some mealworm pupae, and what I like about these is they're soft, they can't bite, and they're relatively small. Because what I've read about mealworms and crested geckos is usually it's best to feed them to your crested gecko when they've just shed their exoskeleton, so they're soft. So this is just ideal really. Whether or not she will have some. I've dusted it in calcium. You might remember me saying that, oh okay, wow. You might remember me saying that she's carrying eggs. Whether or not she's going to lay them, I don't know, but I don't want her to get egg bound. So I want to make sure she has calcium, so it's just an extra little bit for her. You can take that in. There you go. She's got quite the taste for these. Don't really know their nutritional value, but it's good to get a bit of extra protein in, considering Isla's never before really been a fan of feeder insects. So I'm probably going to put Isla away. She's currently eating her other pupae. I think this will be as much live food as she's going to eat tonight, but she's still got her Pangea, which I'll put back in her cage. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Hopefully it hasn't gone on too long. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and goodbye.